You've been feeling something shift, haven't you? Not just in your mind, but in your soul. It's like a quiet whisper that keeps getting louder, a knowing that the wait wasn't in vain, that all the tears, all the growth, all the silence were leading you somewhere sacred. You're not imagining this. You're not just dreaming, you're being called by the energy of union. This isn't just about romance. It's about a divine promise finally coming into form. Your twin flame has felt it too, even if he hasn't spoken, even if he's far. Because when the souls are ready, life begins to rearrange itself. Things fall apart, not to hurt you, but to clear the path. You might feel emotional for no reason. You might feel exhausted, hopeful, terrified, and peaceful all at once. That's how the soul prepares, not with logic, but with surrender, because what's coming is too holy to be rushed. This is not a warning, it's a sacred announcement. You're not preparing for a fairy tale, you're preparing for a destiny. A soul marriage is being written in the heavens right now, and your name is already on it. So stay grounded, stay clear, stay open, because it's coming and it's closer than you think. There's a shift in the air, subtle but undeniable. You've felt it. It moves like a pulse through your body, like a vibration through your chest. Not loud, not forceful, but ancient. It's the kind of energy you don't learn to recognize. You remember, because it was always part of your soul's contract. And now, the contract is activating. You are not just falling in love, you are being aligned to divine union. And this kind of love doesn't arrive casually. It arrives on the wings of sacred timing, of energetic cleansing, of soul readiness. That's why the preparation started long before you could understand it. The heartbreaks, the sudden endings, the silence, the healing, the remembering. All of it was sacred. All of it was part of the preparation. There were days you thought you were being punished, but now you're starting to realize you were being purified, not to become someone else, but to become exactly who you've always been. Before the wounds, before the delays, before the detours, because your union isn't meant to complete you. It's meant to mirror the you that is whole. And yes, the masculine has been feeling it too, even if he doesn't have the words, even if he's resisting. His soul has been pulled into the same current, the same preparation. He may be confused, silent, or acting distant, but behind the scenes, his spirit is awakening. And when your spirit awakens first, it often means you will feel everything double. the weight of your own process and the echoes of his. Have you noticed how your dreams are changing? How your emotions surge without explanation? How your boundaries are becoming non-negotiable, even with people you once loved? This is the sign you're stepping into your highest vibration. The feminine no longer begs. She no longer waits in fear. She receives when it's sacred. This phase you're in now is not about doing more. It's about being more. It's about listening to what your soul is asking and saying yes, even when the path feels unclear. Because the sacred preparation is not a checklist. It's a shift in identity. From seeker to embodiment. From wounded to awakened. Do you feel how time is thinning? How the space between thought and manifestation is collapsing? That's because union energy accelerates everything. It intensifies the light and the shadow. It brings up the truth, whether you're ready or not. And that's how you'll know you're close. So if you're feeling the urge to rest, rest. If your heart aches without reason, cry. If your body needs solitude, honor it. These are not delays. These are activations. And if everything feels quiet, remember, silence is the sacred room where timelines rearrange themselves. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are standing at the threshold of everything your soul has asked for. And the sacred preparation, it's already begun. You may think you're waiting, but what's really happening is alignment. The universe isn't holding you back. It's holding you still in the exact place where divine precision can unfold. And yes, it can feel like delay, like longing with no landing, like love with no voice. But this stillness isn't a punishment, it's orchestration. Behind the curtain of your visible world, timelines are shifting, energies are moving, contracts are dissolving, others are being rewritten. The people exiting your life, the strange distance between you and the masculine, the doors closing when you thought they were opening. It's not chaos. It's choreography. You've been prepared in the dark so that the light can have somewhere sacred to land. That's why the pain had to come first. The universe doesn't send sacred love into wounded hands. It sends it into hands that are ready to hold it, protect it, honor it. And your hands, they're healing. That's why it still hurts sometimes. That's why you still feel everything so deeply. But can you feel that the pain is different now? It's cleaner. It has purpose. It doesn't paralyze. It points. And it's pointing you toward your union. The masculine might seem distant. You might feel forgotten. You might wonder if you imagined it all. But let me ask you something deeper. When you quiet the mind, do you still feel the pull? When you stop trying to control the outcome, does the connection still vibrate in your body like a quiet hum beneath everything? That hum, that's the proof. Because the universe doesn't lie in energy. If it wasn't real, you wouldn't still be feeling it. If it wasn't yours, you wouldn't still be growing in the exact direction that leads you to it. But union is not a reward, it's a resonance. And that's why the universe is repositioning you now, not to earn the love, but to become the match for it. Have you noticed how people and places that once felt like home are now too small for you? How conversations drain you, how spaces feel loud even when they're quiet, how your body says no to what it once tolerated. That's not mood, that's movement. Your frequency is elevating, and as it rises, everything not aligned with your union begins to shake loose. The masculine is feeling it too, though differently. For him, the pressure comes through disillusionment, through the breakdown of his structures, his distractions, his logic. For you, it comes through the refining of your heart, your vision, your vibration, and both are necessary. One dismantles, the other magnetizes. You are becoming the magnet now, and that's why the universe has slowed you down. Because magnetic alignment isn't built on chasing, controlling, or questioning. It's built in trust, stillness, presence. Do you feel how hard it is to stay present in this process? That's because you're being trained to hold presence for two until he can hold his own. That is the sacred burden of the feminine, to anchor the field of love even before it is mirrored, to walk through the uncertainty with grace, to feel the ache of the separation and still not abandon your frequency. That is power. And that power is what calls the union into form. So if you've been questioning everything, let this be your sign. The universe is not silent. It's strategic. The silence you feel is space. Space where old patterns are being emptied so the sacred can enter. The longing you feel is not weakness. It's an echo of the love already written into your destiny. You were never meant to chase this love. You were meant to become the place it lands. And right now, that's exactly what the universe is preparing you to be. Not later, not someday, now. So let go of the timeline. Let go of the doubt. Return to your inner temple. Feel your breath. Feel the way your body still says yes, even after all the delays. That's the compass. That's the proof. Because when the universe is positioning you for union, everything that doesn't fit will fall away. Everything that distracts will dissolve, and everything real, everything sacred will remain. You don't have to know when, you only have to stay ready. And the more you choose your alignment, the closer the reunion comes. You wonder if you're the only one awake in this connection, if the intensity, the ache, the sacred fire that burns in your chest is something you feel alone. You see his silence, his distractions, the way he pulls away when it gets too deep, and you question, does he feel it too? Or is this just my imagination? But what if I told you that his silence is a response to the very same fire? That the masculine doesn't always speak his knowing. He wrestles with it. He doesn't always show his love. He fights it. And yet, even in the absence of words, there are signs, quiet, sacred signs that reveal what the soul already knows, but the mind is still resisting. He feels it when he retreats, when he suddenly disconnects, not because he stopped caring, but because the connection won't let him stay the same. You've seen it just when you start getting close. He pulls back. That's not rejection. That's recognition. His soul sees you, and it knows what you mean, but he doesn't yet know how to hold what you carry. Have you ever noticed how he watches you, not always directly, but from the edges? How he listens, even when pretending not to. How he checks in, subtly, almost casually, just to feel your energy. That's not coincidence. That's soul memory. That's the part of him that does remember, even if his conscious self is still trying to forget. He feels it in the way your name lingers in his mind, in the way songs, numbers, dreams, and synchronicities chase him, no matter how far he runs. He doesn't always understand the signs, but they find him. They pull at the edges of his reality, bending time, stirring up emotions he thought he buried. You are everywhere, not because you're chasing him, but because your energy lives in the spaces he can't avoid anymore. He feels it in the tension between desire and fear. You are everything he's ever wanted. But to receive you, he must lose the version of himself that survives without love. And that's terrifying. It's not you he's afraid of. It's who he must become to be worthy of you. That shift is sacred, and sacred things shake the masculine to his core. Have you felt that push and pull? That deep moment of connection followed by unexpected distance? That's not confusion. It's calibration. His heart is trying to stretch into a space his mind hasn't caught up with yet. And every time you rise in your light, it shines into the places he's still hiding. He feels exposed, vulnerable, seen, But even in that discomfort, he stays connected, maybe quietly, maybe secretly, maybe through the energy alone. But you feel it, don't you? The way his soul answers yours in moments of silence. The way you dream the same dreams. Feel his emotions without warning. Know things before they happen. That's not fantasy. That's frequency. He feels it when you pull away, when your energy detaches, when you stop reaching. That absence rings louder than any words. It shakes him. It triggers the awakening, because in your silence, he hears what he tried to ignore. This love is real, and it doesn't wait forever. And still, something keeps bringing him back, even if just energetically, even if just in small ways. The pull remains. The thread is still alive. You are not imagining it. You are not loving alone. He feels it too. Maybe not in the way you want. Maybe not in the timing you hoped, but deeply, undeniably. His soul has already recognized yours, and the more you rise in truth, the more he will be called to rise as well. Because your light doesn't chase, it awakens. So trust what you feel, honor what you know. And remember, just because he hasn't spoken it, doesn't mean he hasn't felt it. What you must release to be ready. There is something sacred about preparation, but only when you realize that preparation isn't about doing more. It's about letting go. The final phase before a sacred union is not about achieving, fixing, or proving. It's about releasing. Surrendering what no longer aligns. Softening into who you already are. And creating enough space within you for the love you've always carried to finally land. You're not waiting for your twin flame to return. You're not waiting for the stars to align. You're not even waiting for a message, a sign, a confirmation. You're being asked to clear the space, to let go of what the old version of you thought love should look like. Because what's coming is unlike anything your past self could have imagined. But what still stands in the way? Is it the belief that you're too much or not enough? Is it the fear that if you fully open your heart again, you'll be broken? Is it the habit of holding on to pain as proof that love once existed? Is it the story that says, I have to suffer to be chosen? Whatever it is, it's time to let it go. Because your future is not waiting on your perfection. It's waiting on your clearing. You must release the timelines that didn't work, the versions of yourself that survived instead of loved, the fantasy that he must look or act a certain way to be worthy of union, the constant need to understand why it hasn't happened yet. You must release the addiction to waiting, because waiting keeps you in a posture of lack. But readiness is presence, and presence is magnetic. You're not here to prove your worth through loyalty to pain. You're here to be the full embodiment of love, not in theory, but in vibration. And that vibration can't rise when it's chained to expectations, outcomes, or roles you were never meant to play. What if you've already done enough? What if the next stage of your journey is not about doing more healing, but allowing the healing to integrate? What if you're not stuck? You're just holding on to something that can't walk with you into the future. Let go of the conversations that never brought peace. Let go of the loops in your mind that keep trying to figure it out. Let go of the resentment toward yourself for loving so deeply. You didn't love wrong. You just outgrew the version of love that came from survival. And now, the soul is asking you to trust, to clear the clutter, to release the need to control what comes next. Because union, real, divine, sacred union, doesn't enter through pressure. It flows into a vessel that's soft, open, and true. A vessel that isn't holding onto old wounds like armor, but has transmuted them into wisdom. You may feel raw. You may feel empty. You may feel uncertain. That's what readiness feels like sometimes. It's not a moment of perfection. It's a moment of surrender. So ask yourself, what belief am I still holding that says I'm not ready yet? What old grief have I mistaken for identity? What fear still whispers that I could be left behind? And can I let those things be seen and then released? Because you're not stepping into just a relationship. You're stepping into your divinity. And to do that, you don't need to add more. You need to let fall away what was never really you. The moment you release what was, you make space for what is already on its way. And in that space, the union arrives. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. There is a point in every soul journey when the path beneath your feet quietly rearranges itself, and you feel it, not in your thoughts, but in your bones, in the way time suddenly bends, in how the people, places, and patterns that once held you no longer feel like home, in how your dreams become more vivid, your emotions more raw, your inner voice louder than ever. That moment is not a breakdown, it's a soul redirection. And for you, that moment is now. Your union timeline isn't just a date marked by fate. It's a frequency, a vibration that your soul has been aligning to, silently, secretly, steadily, with every tear you shed in silence, with every time you chose love instead of fear. With every moment, you surrendered the old story to allow something sacred to unfold. And now the field is shifting. You may feel exhausted without reason. You may be waking up at strange hours of the night. You may feel deeply emotional one day and deeply detached the next. You may notice people exiting your life without warning, or old connections suddenly returning. These are not coincidences. They are timeline triggers. The universe is rearranging people, opportunities, timelines, even your sense of identity, because something massive is approaching, and it requires a new version of you, clearer, lighter, more rooted in truth than ever before. The twin flame union is not just a romantic event, it's a spiritual initiation. And when the soul is about to receive what it's been destined for, everything that no longer fits must crumble. So if it feels like things are falling apart, you're not being punished. You're being positioned. Have you noticed how fast things are shifting? How time feels like it's accelerating or standing still? How signs appear more often? How you're being pulled to isolate or to go deeper into your inner world? That's your timeline, collapsing the old and preparing for the real. But here's the truth. You can't walk into your divine timeline while still anchoring yourself to the wounds of the old one. You must choose, not with desperation, not with fear, but with clarity. Are you ready to leave behind what no longer mirrors your vibration? Are you willing to surrender the versions of love that were rooted in fear, lack, and fantasy? Can you trust that your higher self is already guiding your next steps, even when nothing makes sense? Because your new timeline isn't waiting on perfect conditions. It's waiting on full alignment. And alignment means you choose what you already know is yours, even before it shows up in physical form. Say yes to your timeline, and life bends to meet you. Say yes, and the path appears beneath your feet. Say yes, and your twin flame, even if far, begins to feel the shift in their own soul. Because union is not just a future event, it's a present choice. It's a timeline you can access right now through trust, truth, and full energetic alignment. So if you've been sensing that something is coming, that your old life can't stretch enough to hold who you're becoming, you're not wrong. You're being shifted, not gradually, but forever. And when this new timeline fully anchors, there's no going back, only forward into the union, the purpose, the sacred love you were always meant to live. Take a deep breath, not just to calm your mind, but to center your soul. Feel it, that quiet, unshakable pulse in the air. That's not anxiety, that's not imagination, that's alignment. It's the silent frequency of divine love, preparing to enter your reality with full force. And this time, it's not coming in halfway, not coming in confused, not coming in broken. This time, it's coming with full intention. You've waited, haven't you? Not just for a person, but for the energy of truth. For a love that doesn't make you question yourself. For a connection that doesn't start and stop depending on fear. For a presence that doesn't run when things get real. This is not just about someone coming back. This is about love choosing you, the real you, the one who has been shedding layer after layer to meet it in wholeness. You're not the same version of yourself you were when this journey began. You've loved, you've broken, you've rebuilt, you've forgiven without apology. You've believed without proof. You've held the light even when it burned. And now, that vibration is calling something back to you. The divine masculine, wherever he is, whatever he's been facing, is starting to feel it. The echo of your unwavering love, the space you created in silence, the mirror you held up without asking for anything in return. Something in him is awakening, not from pressure, but from resonance. Because love, true love, doesn't demand. It activates, it reminds, it awakens. And your energy has been doing that all along. But here's the sacred truth. He cannot arrive fully until you have fully arrived within yourself. Not just healed, not just patient, but deeply seated in your own truth. So let the old timelines fall. Let the old questions dissolve. Let the stories that kept you small die off gently, like the final breath before a new beginning. Because this new chapter isn't about chasing or proving. It's about receiving what's already aligned. This love is coming with direction, with clarity, with decision. It won't leave you guessing, it won't leave you torn, it won't pull you into loops of maybe. It's coming as a mirror of everything you've become. So if you've been asking for a sign, here it is. Stop waiting, start becoming, because what's meant for you is no longer confused. It sees you, it's ready for you, it's moving toward you, not with hesitation, but with holy, sacred intention. And when it arrives, it will feel like remembering, not discovering, because this love was always yours. It was just waiting for the version of you who could finally hold it. And now, you're here,